Hey, I'm Jenn Wallace, and this podcast is here to talk to business owners, and we're sharing thoughts, experience, all about culture, team connection, and leadership. I'm a change maker, and I'm here to change your business. So without further ado, let's get into the podcast. Thank you guys for coming. Mariah, lovely to see you here today.
Thank you for having us, Jen. We're very excited to speak with you.
Yeah, and thank you, Keith. I know it's a big thing for you to come and sit in front of a camera and, you know, amongst our beautiful faces and everything. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for a wonderful experience. And
yeah.
Looking absolutely gorgeous today.
Oh, thanks. You're such a charmer. I love our monthly meetings. You always make me feel good.
Yeah.
So, guys, as I've talked to you before, this is just a conversation, just more so to find out how our journey has gone over the last. We've been working together nearly, is it a year?
I would say almost a year, hasn't it?
Nearly 12 months.
Yeah. And in that time, I think we've grown more into friends than just business associates, where we do chill out and chat together and catch up. Well, we catch up at our weekly BNI meetings and
try and stay on track.
Yep.
Try. And so for us, as you know, working with you and in your business, how do you feel that you have grown? So Mariah, I know for you that was something when we first started, we've always had lots of tears when we have catch-ups and meetings.
She does bring out my emotions, Mama Bear Jen. I think the kind of experience that we have, not just as like an admin role in a pest control, but it's doing these kinds of things and meeting new people and new experiences. I've become so confident. I think like it's really helped me with my confidence, and it's been fun.
And Keith, for you having Mariah in your business, what prompted that? What made you get an amazing administration, also executive assistant, we'll call her now. We've promoted her today.
Executive, no, watch out.
Fancy.
It was, to probably regain that work-life balance and having a young family in that sense of having to work all day on the tools and then have to be up until like 1 a.m. doing paperwork, and then I sprayed Mariah's next door neighbour's house and I was like, oh, do you know anyone who could be my admin and like really help my business? And a week later I got Mariah. I went for a coffee and it was absolutely nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was very organic though, because
Yeah.
I felt like it just fell into my lap when I wasn't really sure where to go when things changed for me as well. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
We found each other.
I know it is like that. But from the beginning, like you said, it was organic. You have had to work on that also, haven't you? So you work remotely, Mariah, for yourself, as you said, and then, you know, Keith, you're out on the tools.
Yeah.
And you know, how did those synergies working together, getting used to delegating, relying on someone else to take calls and
that was hard because I think I was a bit of a control freak at first because it was my baby, but once I got to know Mariah and then just like let go of that control, and then she just took over and let it blossom really.
I think building trust, was important for me, so that Keith trusted me at home as well, to ensure that I was doing what I should be doing for the business. Was a big part, and I think good communication between us. I think it doesn't always work for everybody sometimes, especially like in male-female roles when it's just him and I. I think sometimes the communication could have gotten missed, but you know, touching base all the time was really helpful.
Yeah.
And kept us on track, and helped build the trust to be successful being remote.
And so when we first met, what prompted you to recognise, how did you recognise that you needed a business consultant or someone like me to come in and support your business? What was it? Was it the $5,000
No,
grant? Was it about
for free?
Was that the selling point, or what do you feel for you?
I don't think the money was the selling point for me. I think I saw a lot of potential like in Mariah with her job and what she does for Brisbane City Pest, and I don't think I was able to give her the platform to help grow personally and in a professional manner. And then listening to you talk about how you help businesses and help people grow, I thought it was like a good move to incorporate you, and then watching Mariah grow into a role, that there was real what was,
And do you think maybe support for yourself as well? I think it's hard as a business owner to take on and make all the decisions. So also having someone to...
Yeah. Oh, and then that's too. And then having you as a sounding board as well definitely helped. And it wasn't, so like I had someone to talk to and relieve my stress and that type
When
of
you're
thing. Just
losing
someone
it.
to have, like when I just get overwhelmed or flustered instead of having to, I could just give you a call and you'd be like, hey, like pull your shit together. Like just do this or else you're wasting everyone's time. And you resonated with me. What was nice.
Yeah, so we had a connection. I think that's an important part when you are engaging someone else, that you've already got some values aligned, and there's that energy, which I talk a lot about. When you're with people, we have that energy. So it's not just the synergy, there's an energy and a connection forming the relationship. So for me, it's definitely about creating those relationships with my client, like with clients. I don't see you as clients anymore. I see you as business associates. I feel like I'm your walk in and walk out CEO each month when we have meetings.
I do look forward to
we're having like a little board meeting and we make decisions. Well, I help you make decisions. So I'm not in there to telling you how to run or work in your business. It is the strategies to help you move forward if you need to, or hold off, So we were looking at employing someone for in Brisbane City Pest Control, weren't you? We're looking at adding and growth, and at the time, that wasn't such a success because, again, the candidate didn't work out. But from there, do you feel that now you've decided, okay, that's another part of it down the track and you're going to focus more on your branding and your image now? So we totally changed track, didn't we? We went down one way and then you recouped and decided that that's not going to work in the business. At the moment, it will down the track. Do you feel that having that accountability is really important for you? Someone else that you guys answer to as such? Accountability?
Yeah, I reckon so, 100%. Like, I think if we just kept going down that road of just having that employee and then not being able to voice my concerns with someone, I think it could have been detrimental to the team we already had.
And not focusing in the wrong places.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just accept, don't we, that even though you've got someone doing the work, if they're not the right fit, is actually a detriment to your business. But you recognised it early, and didn't you, Mariah? You kept quiet for a little bit, thinking,
I think
really
it
upset.
shows pretty quickly sometimes whether I know, and especially for Keith and I, like we very bounce off each other quite a lot. Like obviously respect him as my boss, but also as a good friend, and so we've always communicated a certain way. And then having that third party come in, I think it's important that we stay true to the company's goals and values, and it just didn't seem like that person at the time was the right fit, and it did show eventually. These things do come out. Having a bit of direction in those sense, and for you're very experienced in that area, so having someone kind of help with that when we're not very new to that experience.
Yeah, definitely, and it's new having staff where it's like, whereas a manager beforehand it was different, but when it's your own business and you've built relationships and, like it feeds everyone's family, it's something that, has to be addressed, and you just keep us, on that path, and you're very good at just straight, not shoot, like
I can be quite
shooter.
direct, can't I?
And that's what I think what's so good about you though too, Jen. It's like, you tell it how it is, and if we don't fix it, it's like,
Yeah, well, that's on you. If you don't change,
you,
nothing's ever going to change, right? So that's
right.
one of my mottos. So again, it's up to you guys to make the change. I'm not sitting in the office, pulling the strings, but we can write down notes, and the advice is always in your best interest. Paul will be happy I use that line.
Oh, such a pun.
For me, it's definitely about giving you the advice, so the years of experience and lived experience. So that's what I love to bring into many different businesses rather than just staying in the one business and putting all my expertise into that. I love being able to form these relationships with business owners and then their employees to help them grow. So that's something, for the growth for both of you together. Do you feel when we did the extended DIS, so we've gone through that process with the assessments, do you feel I remember that day when I presented the briefing and we discovered a little secret about Mariah, that she didn't want to work, necessarily all by herself. That was a bit of a wake-up moment for the three of us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it? Because I am a social person, I would say, personality-wise. But it's very easy to be stuck in your own surroundings and you get accustomed to that. But, I don't even think I truly excuse me, I don't think I truly understood myself maybe that that's what I actually maybe enjoyed. And don't get me wrong, both have each benefits, but I do like when we do all catch up and we have our monthly meetings and it is exciting for me because it's like a little outing.
And from that you learnt to check in with Mariah, didn't you? Well, I shouldn't say, it wasn't that you didn't, but you became more aware of that. Didn't you, that communication with the two of you?
He's good at picking up on people like that, though, I think. So it was something you did anyway.
Yeah, I'd check in on her, but then sometimes I just felt like I was annoying her. So, but it was good to get that, that confirmation and then knowing that to then help Mariah and then get the best out of both of us, because I quite enjoy having the daily catch-up and a yarn, because it breaks up the monotony of being on the road and having to deal with customers and listen to the radio. So
yeah, absolutely. And then being able to share the day, so maybe a phone call that you've had Mariah and sharing that back with Keith, so then you're keeping your finger on the pulse. So that trust part is really important, isn't it? Like you said from the beginning.
Yeah, and problem solving, I think it helps with a lot as well. Otherwise there's a list of things that does need to be answered in a day and sometimes there is a bit of a delay. So it's good getting it all out in one conversation as well and being back on track. But I think even with the extended disc, it's also for me and for us, it's learning how another person works and acts and takes on information. So how to I guess communicate with them to get the best out of each situation makes a lot of sense, I think, because some people can be very shut off, very short answered, where other people's like a lot of information.
The emotional side, and then you've got the others that are...
knowing what each person needs to get the best out of them in a job role and in a professional sense, I think has been quite helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And so for you, Keith, do you feel your leadership skills, you said that you've managed before in other businesses, do you feel that they've strengthened from the way that we work and the way that we work through problems? Do you feel that has helped you from that perspective as a leader?
Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon it's made me a lot better at managing people and then just being a better boss. I don't really consider myself a boss though.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Even the leadership thing, you go, I'm not a leader. Well, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like having that EDIS, like we've learned how to what's the best way to go about, say, like addressing an issue, what's going to, get the best out of Mariah, but then also get the best outcome for me and the business. So that's been really good. And then just understanding how everyone operates. And,
yeah, definitely. So I think communication is key to that. And then, because I know from the beginning when we first met, Mariah, you were on the phones. It was quite awkward for you because you didn't have that confidence. You're a good communicator, but the confidence and the knowledge of the business. So
I think being put on the spot when you're on the phone can be a bit confronting when you're learning and you don't have someone right beside you to say, hey, here's the answer, or, you can't just palm it off. So I think, getting comfortable in that situation and trusting that it's okay not to always have the answer straight away.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And do you feel that our sessions then helped you with certain skills?
100%.
Like what would be a highlight?
I think the biggest thing for me in what you were coaching me with at the time for that particular issue of being on the phone, I would say it was probably a fear of mine for a very long time. And I've learnt that getting an answer quickly is a lot better than waiting for a reply. And also just what's the worst thing that can happen to me in this situation? Nothing. It's just part of the job, communication. It's actually a part of our customer service. And I think taking it away from a sales perspective, which is not our intent either, and sometimes it can come across in that sense. But knowing that for us it isn't, it's just about following up with the customer to ensure their needs are being met, and that's as simple as it. And sometimes once just doing it without having all of the build up, it just changed. It completely changed the dynamic of the end of the month for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And for you, Keith, what's some of the skills or the nuggets that I've given you during our time together? Yeah, I know some nuggets, some gold nuggets.
We love some nuggets.
Some gold nuggets.
It's not chicken nuggets.
I love chicken nuggets.
You love chicken nuggets?
We'll get like 20 pack of Macca's ones. That'd be great.
Chaos.
Some Uber Eats.
Yeah. Some nuggets.
Yeah, some gold nuggets, some takeaways from our, some of our monthly meetings or even our phone calls.
I think like when you implemented like that boss bitch policy.
Boss bitch energy.
Yeah, and we
Yes.
and then we put it in the business. I think that was like really good. And then that changed the way I felt with like customers and just in general, it's like, well, if I'm not going to get what I want, not in that way, but like if I don't like how it's going, I've got no issue now being like, hey, like, look, that doesn't suit, like, we're not going to work with you, or
It's just
like,
not working
It's
out.
not working out. So it's like...
you might not be the right person, and that's okay.
Yeah, and that goes for clients as
and
well,
that goes
doesn't
with,
it?
Yeah, that even goes with clients. It's like we had a client the other week, they rang up whinging about a price increase. It's like, well, if you don't like it, go find somewhere else. Like, we'd like to work with you, but we don't need you. And like understanding all these processes, it's okay to be a boss bitch. And
And trust yourself.
I'm going to
Trust
hashtag
yourself
that
and
one, right?
back it.
Back yourself. So
And
that's
backing
actually,
yourself.
thank you. That's the message.
It's
more
funny.
being
We
assertive.
often, if we're kind of caught up in a situation, don't we? We often go, what would Jen say?
Yeah.
Where is your boss bitch
this.
energy?
My job here is done. I love that so much.
And
it's good because even I sometimes have to do that for myself. And I know that through the years when I haven't, it has turned, gone to crap. But when I have, I walk away feeling, I feel better in that decision.
You feel clearer, like
Yes.
more guided, because otherwise how often is it, I've got to do this, oh, is this the right thing to do? I don't know. You've so many things to think about.
Yeah,
It's
the
clear.
overwhelm as well.
It's clear. And
Clear
I find I
guidance.
don't like second guess myself as much anymore. And when I do, like, I give you a call and you're like, well, you've answered it, mate. It's like just do it.
Validation.
Validation.
Yes, validation.
Yeah.
Reassurance as well. You give it to each other. It's sometimes just having that extra one
And
does help.
in a relaxed sense, I think has made things a bit easier. It's just come naturally.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so the future for us going forward, what does that look like? So, I know we've got our meeting coming up on Friday. We're doing goal setting and yes, we've set some, goals. How are you looking at him like what is,
I'm excited for this next year. It's been full on 12 months, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've achieved a lot in that 12-month period though. Like only like a month ago we went down to the Australian Pest Managers Award. And
Yes.
become
Which was-
second
share
out of
that.
A
Australia.
defining moment when we, really put in a lot of work structurally in the business.
In 18 months it really...
And it just, it really did, was such an achievement. I think it was just knowing that we're on the right track and we are the big deal,
Yeah, that's
the real
right, yeah.
deal, and trusting. And, Keith brings 10 years experience, third generation pest controller. So it was a real defining moment, I think,
was.
for you. But I'm excited because I think it really motivated the business to rebrand, take
Yes.
a really good look at where we would like to be or where you would
really
like the
set the
business to be.
benchmark for it.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing was I hate losing too. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
hate
you're
it.
competitive.
So
I love
filthy. I
that.
just wanted to go home and cry.
I never knew that part. That was brilliant.
I thought it was like the whole reason we did do the application was to benchmark it to see where we were sitting within the industry. And then to get to that point was just like...
Yeah, because what did you come? You came
Second.
second. That's, but still, you learnt a lot from that because they gave you feedback, didn't you? Which we
But
implemented.
it was. I'm actually glad we didn't come first in a sense. I think the next time
He's not happy about that. He's still going, no,
I
I want to
love
win.
winning.
it's
but,
always
like,
something to
it's-
learn for me. I think you try it once and you can know
Always-
what to expect the next time. But yes, I'm very excited for this year. I think it's going to be a great year. So Friday we do. Yeah, we have kind of started the ball rolling. So we'll see.
Yeah.
See what you think.
Going to rebrand it, make the business look the real deal now. Eh?
Shabby.
And that's it.
Yeah,
Whole
definitely.
new outlook on it. So
It's good. And so when we have our meetings and we do consultations, we don't always have a potentially an actual focus, do we? Quite often we get together, okay, what's been happening? And from that, we'll then regroup and where are we up to, how are you feeling? Obviously, recruitment was one part and that has been just put, parked for now. We'll loop back to it later. And then we just, through our meetings, come up with the next, okay, goal setting. That's a focus I really, want to work on. So do you feel that consistency of our meetings does help us then plan the next, month, the quarter, the 6 months?
I think it helps hold us accountable. Like I like being held accountable for my actions and like for the business. So if I don't have you there help guiding me and Mariah, it's like, well, will shit still get done?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because we did 18 months solid, and we really grew in that time, but we just did it off our own backs. And then like when you come in, it was good because you kind of help fix up the loose ends and
gives that structure as well, some framework, didn't it?
And like,
Yeah.
And so for me, what I love is when I meet with so let's use you guys as an example. When I met with you, I knew a bit about your business, but I didn't know everything. So we had that discovery meeting, which was the initial one. And that was when we did end up in tears, and we shared a lot more than just business secrets. It was like a counselling session.
Yeah.
All a hot mess, weren't we?
It was a counselling session. I thought that's how it was going to be. Actually, I'm like, she's going to bring out my emotions.
She's going to cry every time.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's what I love working with you guys, that you've been so open to listening to suggestions, but working on yourselves both personally and professionally, and then obviously in the business and on the business. And that's part of what I love, I get passionate about, and why I've always loved working with both of you, is that your willingness to change, and not just change for the sake of it. I think I mentioned that before, but really being willing to see, okay, if we implement this, it is going to help us. It is about being more productive and getting the best out of each other so that you have an impact on the business growth. Would you agree with that as well?
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's where being a successful leader also comes into play. Being able to be adapting in those situations as a business owner, I think, is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And learning it was okay to be vulnerable too.
Yes.
I think that was a big thing. Yeah.
Very much so. I did feel, and through that vulnerability, that's where I grabbed that connection with clients, and obviously with yourselves as well. That's what I respect the most, when people share their vulnerable sides. And yes, we can get emotional as well, but that is part of it, right? So we've got to work and have that sensitivity in our workspace.
Yeah, 'cause in business sense as well, like it can be overwhelming at certain periods. Everything can happen all at once. So having someone who can kind of help ground those situations has, I guess, kept us on track to, reach those goals in a short time frame.
So where to from here for Brisbane City Pest Control?
Oh, where to? Well, once I think we get the business rebranded and
offer a couple, maybe a new service.
Offer a new service or two. We've got something up our
Ooh,
sleeves.
secrets.
And,
I look forward to hearing that Friday.
Stay tuned.
We were offered a tender with a big organisation if we add the service, so that was quite good. I think I think the branding, once that's finished off, I think then we'll focus on the next step of employing, and then
which we're hoping we might just come
naturally.
I think that might be the best way to focus on adding a team member.
Because that's what we were talking about, and why I referred you to other, obviously to marketing is not my niche. I know it's needed. There's, branding specialists and that type of thing. So recognising that was our next step in the strategy to grow your business. And then you took that on board straight away. You went, yep, that's what I need,
I
aesthetics.
Think each thing that kind of has been recommended or where you would see fit for us is where we would want to be, or kind of where we were discussing. So it was validation each time that we're in the right spot.
Yes.
And without even saying, it's like all on the same page.
It's like just helping with that last tile and each piece of the puzzle. You're just this needs to be done before you can progress to this part.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
love
a big
that.
game, you know what I mean? It's
because you already knew it. You already were wanting to do that, and we come together and we have a chat, and then it's absolutely do this. Look at your revenue streams, which is, we did talk about that too. That's something that's really important. We forget about in business. We just focus on everything, and finding your niche, your market, which is amazing.
It's good guidance, hey? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
like, oh, what do we, you know, we're at a bit of a not a standstill, but that one thing didn't necessarily work out in that moment, and staying busy, but then also like, okay, so, you know, what does the next step look like? And I think that revenue option from you or suggestion was
Awesome.
great,
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
it?
good.
Really helped change the focus.
And then grading
that.
all our customers too, so we can
Oh,
start getting
are you
rid
going to
of
do
the,
that?
Yes.
the
I love that
not so
idea.
fun
Yes.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a good
fun
one.
to do. Yeah, and having those uncomfortable conversations. What I actually enjoy more now since dealing with you, Jen, is having uncomfortable conversations.
Well done.
Yeah.
I love that. That's excellent. And does that come from having that backing yourself and that confidence piece, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think all the strategies you helped me put in place, and then like if I couldn't have a hard conversation, how can I run a business? It doesn't make sense. So
Awesome.
it was just like, just do it. Like, what's the worst going to happen?
Do you hear my voice, do you, sometimes?
Sometimes. What would Jen say?
Yeah,
What would Jen
because
say?
we ask if we can't figure it out, we go. So
What would
like,
Jen say?
What would Jen say? Maybe you should just call Jen Keith. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's funny. But I agree with that. So when you guys were often discussing my role and what that looked for me
Yes.
in a future sense, and being a team leader or an office manager, it's like, well, if I can't have those tough conversations or make these calls or, you know, problem solve myself, well, then I can't be in that role. And I would love to be in that role. So I think definitely I agree with that.
Yeah.
That professional development piece. And again, having a leader that recognises, and for the growth, you know, we've done the org chart and what it's going to look like when you're becoming super, you know,
Super big.
super big.
Global.
Global pest control. I don't know about that.
I don't know.
You'll have to go overseas.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you have a passport?
No.
Oh, I don't either, so I'll have to stay here. We'll stay in Brisbane. Go over to Barbie for a treat.
You have to change your name then. It would have to be like Brisbane and Global.
Yeah, no. That's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
Get an aeroplane and brand your aeroplane.
Yeah, we could get our own airline.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Would it be green and black? Black plane with green stripes.
No, we'd have to paint it red so it goes fast. Put a cockroach on the back.
Yeah, that's funny as. Anyway. Banter.
All right. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. And giving me the opportunity to work with you guys. It's certainly something that I'm very proud of. And that's why I wanted to invite you here today, because of your journey and how I've watched you both as a business grow and individually. So
We
thank
love you, Jen. Thank you
Oh,
for having
thanks. I love you guys.
Thank you, Jen.
Use the best, Brisbane City,
City
Pest.
Pest.
I love it. Thanks to you, the resident cockroach. You cockroach today or termite?
No, I thought a flea.
Flea, right, okay. Treat fleas too.
Yeah.
Geez, you do everything.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades.
Good at none.
Master of none.
Yeah.
Jack of all, master of none.
That's it.
Anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate
Thanks,
it. Good
Jen.
chat.
Thank you,
Good
Jen.
chat. Thanks.